Welcome back, viewers. Today, we're sharing Eric's story from Sweden. His March 2018 trip to Thailand's Patong beach started with casual encounters. But back home, a new Facebook profile led to a deep online connection with Pen, a 26-year-old Thai model and translator. Despite a 20-year age gap and distance, their bond grew, solidified by daily chats and her past heartbreak. In December 2018, Eric flew to Bangkok, and their real-life meeting was wonderful. They spent weeks together, even getting Pen a new apartment. However, just 2 weeks after his return to Malmo, Pen's sudden silence, a swift breakup, and a Valentine's Day 2019 pre-wedding photo revealed her marriage to an ex. A situation Eric later understood was driven by a traditional parent payment. It was March 2018, and I was finally making my first pilgrimage to Thailand. I'd picked Phuket as my initial landing spot, and as fate, or perhaps a slightly naive travel agent would have it, I ended up right in the thick of it, Patong Beach. Now, I'm not one to jump into things blind. Before I even booked the flight, I'd spent countless hours hunched over my laptop, devouring every article, forum post, and dodgy blog I could find on the internet. I was researching the do's and don'ts of Thailand like it was a final exam. I meticulously read about the culture, the scams, the local customs, even how to politely refuse a tuk-tuk ride without causing offense. I genuinely believed I was well and truly prepared for this trip, armed with enough knowledge to navigate whatever exotic adventures lay ahead. Stepping off the plane, the humidity hit me like a warm, wet blanket, instantly different from the crisp spring air I'd left behind in Malmo. The journey to Patong was a blur of vibrant colors, unfamiliar smells, and the constant hum of scooters. When I finally arrived at my hotel, the sheer sensory overload of Patong Beach was immediate. It was exactly as the online forums described, yet so much more. Neon lights pulsed, music thumped from every direction, and the air buzzed with an electric energy I'd never experienced. For the first 2 nights, I decided to take it slow. I wasn't there to rush into anything. I wanted to observe, to soak it all in, to understand the rhythm of this place. Each evening, after the sun had dipped below the horizon in a blaze of orange and purple, I'd venture out. My routine was simple: a cautious stroll down the famous Bangla walking street, a river of humanity flowing between bars, clubs, and street vendors. The sheer volume of people was astounding. Tourists of every nationality, locals hawking their wares, and of course, the ever-present, alluring presence of the bar girls. I'd find a spot in a quietish bar, usually one with an open front so I could watch the world go by. I'd order a local beer, a Chang or a Leo, and just watch. Like a biologist observing a new species in its natural habitat, I sat there, taking it all in. Girls, countless girls, would approach my table, their smiles bright, their eyes inviting. "Hello, handsome man. You want company? You want drink with me?" they'd ask, their voices soft, their English surprisingly good. They were beautiful, some dressed provocatively, others more casually, but all radiating a captivating allure. It was a constant stream, an endless offer of companionship, but I declined every single one. Politely, of course, remembering my internet research. A simple smile and a "my-ow crap, I don't want, thank you," was usually enough. I wasn't there for that. Not yet anyway. I wanted to observe first, to understand the dynamics, to separate the genuine smiles from the practiced ones, to figure out what was really going on in this fascinating, overwhelming, and utterly captivating place. I was a spectator for now, absorbing the sights and sounds, trying to piece together the unwritten rules of Patong Beach. The third night and the tiger's den. On the third night, feeling a bit more settled and having soaked in enough of the atmosphere to feel less like a deer in headlights, I decided to dive a little deeper into the madness. I found myself drawn into the cavernous, pulsating heart of Tiger Bar. It's a colossal place, a maze of elevated stages, bars, and booming music, packed with a cacophony of international voices and the scent of beer and something vaguely exotic. That night, amidst the thumping bass and flashing lights, I met a cute bar girl. She approached me with that familiar, confident smile, but there was something about her that felt a bit different. Maybe it was her laugh or the way she joked about my slightly bewildered expression as I tried to make sense of the chaos around us. We got chatting, and one beer turned into another and another. To my surprise, she could actually keep up with me when it came to drinking. I'm no lightweight, but she matched me pint for pint, or rather small Chang bottle for small Chang bottle, without missing a beat. The conversation flowed easily, full of laughs and light-hearted banter. We had genuine fun, the kind where you lose track of time. Well, she did end up very drunk by the end of the night, stumbling a bit, but it was all good-natured and genuinely amusing. As the night wound down, she looked at me with those big, dark eyes and asked, "You want to come to my room? Or your room?" The offer hung in the air. The crucial part, the detail that made me pause, was that she didn't talk about money. Not a word. No bar fine, no direct negotiation, no hinting at a price. It felt different from what I'd read, and certainly different from the more direct offers I'd batted away on previous nights. Curiosity and a good few beers got the better of me. We ended up back at my hotel room, and we had a wild night. She was fun, incredibly vivacious, and there were no awkward conversations about payment. It felt in that moment like a genuine connection, albeit a fleeting one. The morning after, and the emerging pattern. The next morning, though, with the Patong sun streaming through the curtains, and the echoes of the night fading, a sense of clarity returned. She was still asleep beside me, looking peaceful. But the truth was, despite the fun, I didn't want anything more to do with her, specifically. It wasn't personal. Not really. It was more about the experience itself, and the understanding that this was a transactional world, even if the transaction wasn't explicitly stated up front. I wasn't looking for a relationship. I was here for a holiday, for experiences, and to see what Thailand was really all about, beyond the tourist brochures. So, when she stirred, I gently woke her. I pulled out my wallet, counted out 1,500 baht, enough, I hoped, to show appreciation, without making it feel like a cold, hard payment. I handed it to her with a smile and a simple, "Thanks for a fun night." She took it, smiled, and with no fuss, got herself sorted and headed out. No drama, no lingering questions, just a polite parting. And that, my friends, became the pattern that repeated itself for the next 10 days. Every night, or almost every night, I'd venture out onto Bangla Road. I'd meet a new girl, sometimes in Tiger, sometimes in another bar. We'd share drinks, conversation, laughs, and sometimes a wild night back at my hotel. The key was the new girls part. I wasn't going back to the same person. Each encounter was fresh, a new personality, a new story, a new kind of fun. And always, crucially, there was no attachment. It was a holiday, fling, a no strings attached arrangement that suited me perfectly at the time. I was enjoying the freedom, the thrill of the new, and the uncomplicated nature of these interactions. It was pure, unadulterated fun, exactly what I thought I wanted from Patong Beach. I thought I had cracked the code, navigating this wild new world on my own terms. When I came back from that vacation, landing back in the dreary March chill of Malmo, I felt this had been the best vacation I'd ever had. Seriously, the best. The colors, the sounds, the sheer vibrancy of the place, and the uncomplicated fun I'd had. It was a world away from my routine. I was buzzing and I couldn't wait to go back. The experience had truly opened my eyes to something completely different. During my time there, I'd gotten a few requests for my Facebook info from some of the girls I'd met. Now, I wasn't about to give out my main Facebook profile. That one's got photos of my son, my family, my mates from the pub, all my normal life. It wasn't that I wanted to hide what I'd done in Thailand. I was, and still am, pretty open about why I chose Thailand and what I was looking for. No secrets there, but I just thought the mix of cultures could be too much. My mates down the boozer might not bat an eyelid, but mixing my very British family life with the realities of Patong Beach, even if it was just for fun, felt like asking for trouble or, at best, a lot of awkward questions. The two worlds were just too disparate to casually blend. So, I did what seemed like the sensible thing. I made a new Facebook profile specifically for my Asian friends, as I thought of them. A clean slate, a separate space. My big hobby, outside of work and a pint, has always been photography, particularly photographing models. It's a creative outlet, something I'm genuinely passionate about. With this new Facebook profile, I started adding Thai models and photographers, figuring it was a good way to connect with people who shared a similar interest and maybe even get some inspiration. It was a natural progression, really. After maybe a month of steadily sending out friend requests and accepting them, I had accumulated almost 200 new friends on this fresh profile. It was a mix of aspiring models, professional photographers, and people just interested in the scene. I'd scroll through, admire the artistry, and occasionally like a picture or two. It was a pleasant, low-key way to stay connected to that part of the world. Then, one day, amidst the sea of new contacts, I started to talk with a girl. Her name was Pen. Her profile was full of genuinely artistic shots. It was clear she took her work seriously. She was a part-time model, which immediately caught my eye, given my hobby. But she also worked for an online fashion magazine as an English and Thai translator, which struck me as a proper, respectable job. She was 26 years old, and I, at 46, certainly felt the age gap. But her profile gave off an air of professionalism and intelligence. And she was very pretty, no two ways about it. Our initial messages were just about photography, the nuances of light, the challenges of working with different models. It was a refreshing change from the simple hello handsome of Bangla Road. And for the first time since coming back, I felt a different kind of curiosity stirring. After some weeks of talking, purely online at this point, we started to get feelings for each other. It was a strange sensation, developing a connection with someone thousands of miles away, someone I'd never met in person beyond a screen. I tried to hold back, I really did. The logical part of my brain kept yelling, "Dean, You can't go back to Thailand until December 2018. That's 7 months away. 7 months is an eternity in online dating, especially with a time difference and a whole ocean between us. I was convinced there was no way we could keep this going for so long. It seemed utterly unrealistic. But the months passed. April turned into May, then June. And every single day we talked. For 1 to 2 hours, sometimes more, using everything from WhatsApp, Line, Tango, and Skype. We'd send messages, share photos, and do video calls. It was relentless, in the best possible way. We'd talk about our days, our dreams, our pasts, everything. Through these daily conversations, often late into the night here in Malmo, I started to get real feelings for her. It wasn't just physical attraction. I was genuinely drawn to her personality, her wit, her way of seeing the world. She, in turn, told me she was crazy about me, showering me with compliments and affection that felt incredibly sincere. From the very beginning, I was firm about not wanting to send her any money. This was a lesson I'd taken to heart from my internet research before my first trip. I told her straight up, "I don't really know you until we've met properly. You could be a monkey for all I know." It was a bit of a blunt joke, but it got the point across. I wanted to establish boundaries early. She said she understood completely, and to her credit, never asked for money directly, not once. This was a huge green flag for me, reinforcing my belief that she was different from the bar girls. I did, however, end up sending her small amounts, 3,000 baht a few times, perhaps a total of 9,000 baht over those months. It wasn't because she asked. It was because I wanted her to buy something for herself, something nice, a little treat, a gesture of affection from me, just to show I was thinking of her. I figured it was a small amount, a token, and it felt good to do it. We also talked a lot about our past relationships. She opened up to me, telling me she had been living in France with a man. It was a serious relationship, she said, but this guy's daughter wouldn't accept her, and they ended up fighting a lot because of it. It sounded quite dramatic and heartbreaking. The biggest reveal was that they were actually going to get married. But at the last minute, he apparently pulled out because he couldn't find the money to pay the parents. This concept, paying the parents as part of a marriage, was new to me. But I'd read about it. She said they ended the relationship right there. This whole ordeal, she explained, had happened only 6 months before I met her online. It painted a picture of a woman who had recently gone through a significant emotional upheaval, and it made me feel even more protective and understanding towards her. We were both divorced, both looking for something real, and her story resonated with my own experiences of relationships ending in complicated ways. The connection felt stronger, more authentic with each passing day. After what felt like an absolute age, all those months of talking, sending messages, video calls, the excitement, the nerves, December 2018 finally came. It was time to go see her. As I packed my bags, a wave of real nervousness washed over me. This wasn't some holiday fling I was walking into. This was something more. Now it all became real. All those hours of chatting, all those shared feelings, they were about to be put to the test. We talked a lot about how we would react when we finally met in person. I told her repeatedly that I didn't expect anything from her. No grand gestures, no immediate declarations. I was genuinely willing to take some time to just get to know her in the flesh, to see if the chemistry translated from the screens to real life once we were actually in the same city. I wanted to manage expectations, both hers and, more importantly, my own. The long flight from the UK felt endless. Every minute dragged. But then, the moment the plane touched down in Bangkok, a surge of pure anticipation shot through me. I could hardly wait to get out of that metal tube and finally see her. The airport felt like a labyrinth, and retrieving my suitcase from the carousel seemed to take an eternity. I was practically bouncing on the balls of my feet as I pushed my trolley towards the arrival area, my eyes scanning the crowds. And then I saw her. I saw her right away. She was standing there a little bit further back from the main throng, exactly where she said she'd be. And she was even more beautiful than in the pictures. My heart did a bit of a flip. The photos, good as they were, didn't quite capture the sparkle in her eyes or the subtle way she held herself. We locked eyes, and before I could even think about cultural norms or what was considered appropriate public behavior, she was moving towards me. I'd told myself, based on my research, that public displays of affection weren't common in Thailand, especially for a first meeting. I thought maybe a polite why or a handshake, but she threw all that out the window. She just came straight at me and hugged me hard. It was a proper embrace, no hesitation, no awkwardness. And it was wonderful. All the nervousness, all the doubt, all the waiting, it just melted away in that moment. After that incredibly warm welcome, we managed to navigate the airport chaos. We got into a taxi, and as we pulled away from the terminal, heading towards the apartment I had rented for our stay in Bangkok, I felt a profound sense of relief and excitement. This was it. The real adventure had truly begun. After dropping off my luggage at my rented Bangkok apartment, we headed to dinner. Conversation just flowed, feeling incredibly natural, like we'd known each other for years. We spent about a week in Bangkok, then moved to Pattaya, where she lived and worked. Her job's dual office locations meant she could stay with me in Bangkok, which was honestly great. We even had dinner with her boss and colleagues, which was a bit nerve-wracking, but also kind of fun. While she worked 9 to 6, I explored the city. Then we'd meet up for dinner and spend our evenings together, chatting and having fun back at the hotel. I was, genuinely happy. My research into Thai culture meant we really had no major issues, except for one silly argument about a seafood buffet. I'd wanted a seafood buffet all day, and she'd promised to take me somewhere, but instead we ended up at Festival Shopping Mall with no buffet in sight. When I showed my disappointment, she pouted and just clammed up. We eventually settled on a pretty mediocre buffet with some seafood, but she stayed silent the whole time. Frustrated, I just announced that I'd lost my appetite and started walking back to the hotel, ignoring taxis and not even checking if she was following. About 800 meters in, I stopped. She wasn't there. I hailed a taxi and on the way back, saw her in another one. I got to the hotel first. She arrived, incredibly upset, and accused me of totally abandoning her and fearing she could have been, taken by people. Despite all that drama, this was honestly our only fallout in the entire month I spent in Thailand. We talked about our future, and I truly loved her, though I tried to hold back, knowing months would pass before my next visit from Malmo. She lived in a poor area, so I offered to help her move. We found a beautiful apartment on the 28th floor of a new skyscraper with city views, which made us both really happy. Leaving her to return to Malmo was just awful. I missed her terribly, and our constant calls confirmed she missed me just as much. We were honestly deeply in love. 2 weeks after I got back, her usually sweet morning messages suddenly became really short. Just good morning, then in a meeting, then on the way to another job with promises to contact me later. My alarm bells started ringing. This just wasn't our usual rhythm. Then, before finishing work, she messaged, "Bibi will go back home now. And my parents are here. So we'll take care of them, Bibi." This set off major red flags. Her parents lived up north. They wouldn't just turn up unannounced, especially with her work fluctuating between Bangkok and Pattaya, and she hadn't mentioned anything about it. She didn't reply for the rest of the day, and I grew more and more nervous. I knew something was seriously wrong. When she didn't even say good night, I messaged her, demanding the truth and telling her not to insult my intelligence with a made-up story. The next morning, still nothing. At 11, she finally wrote, "Hello Bibi, how are you? I didn't insult you yesterday, but I would like to be polite and stop relationship with you, and I know it really hurts. But I want to say, really sorry, but I can't be with you anymore. And I hope you find good girl to be with you and make you happy." I was in shock, then furious. "What is the reason?" I demanded. Her reply, "I still love my ex and I have my reason for me, Bibi. I hope you're not angry with me, Bibi. I know you will hurt, but I know less hurt than you." She added I was a nice guy. It wasn't me. Blah blah. Fine. I shot back, seething. Hours later, the questions just kept swarming. Why? How? Who? I pleaded for an explanation. All I got was, "I have my reasons. One day you will see." I was devastated, crying, just shattered. All our dreams gone. I tried to be strong, removing her from both Facebook accounts and deleting her photos. I felt betrayed, angry, yet deeply sad. I begged again for the truth, offering anything. She insisted she couldn't change her mind, claiming equal or more pain. "If you're hurting, why?" I pressed. Her only response, "I always think my family first, and one thing I do my best." I had no idea what that meant, but crushed, I sent a goodbye message and cried. The next day I tried to message her, but she'd blocked me. I tried other apps she read, then blocked those too. I resorted to Facebook, hoping old messages would reach her. She read them but never replied. After the longest 3 weeks of my life, I started to recover. The tears ran out, and I foolishly thought I'd find her and win her back on my planned April trip. On Valentine's Day, I wrote her on Facebook. "Happy Valentine's Day. I hope you are happy." No reply, of course. Later that evening, just scrolling through my Asia Facebook, now with 330 friends, my heart just stopped. There she was, in a photo by a mutual photographer friend, titled PRE Wedding. Emotion just overwhelmed me. I sobbed for 2 hours. How? It had only been 3 weeks since the breakup. How could she marry another man so fast? I messaged her, distraught, asking why she hadn't warned me. She read it. No reply. A few hours later, calm returned, and it all finally clicked. "Family first," she'd said. Her ex must have finally found the money to pay her parents. She sacrificed me for her family's financial gain. I felt sorry for her, but also furious. Why wouldn't she tell me? I would have stepped in. Her parents wouldn't care where the money came from. I remembered her saying her previous marriage was paper married, only for show. I'd been a fool for not digging deeper. She never mentioned him in 7 months. Monday, February 18th, 2019, my Facebook was filled with her wedding ceremony photos. She was married, forever out of my reach. So there you have it, Eric's journey into the complexities of international romance, from carefree holiday fun to a heartbreaking betrayal driven by cultural norms. What are your thoughts on how this unfolded? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more real life stories.